My name is Colette Samman. I'm the Deputy Commissioner at the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and I oversee IDNYC as well as some other strategic initiatives for the City of New York. Establishing your identity was a big problem here in New York as well, and Mayor de Blasio in 2014 made it a campaign pledge to ensure that all New Yorkers aged 14 and above were able to get identity, a New York City municipal ID. And so in this global city, people come to live here from all over the world. And it was our mission that all 8.6 million residents, no matter where you're from, would have a shared sense of identity and that they would be a New Yorker. And so although the traffic patterns don't necessarily show this, 50% of the adult population in New York do not have driver's licenses. And so that's a problem. And you need ID to enter a school to get your children here in New York City. And so if you do not have identification, you cannot pick up your kids. If you're stopped by the police and you do not have identification, this could lead to an arrest, and this was also a problem. And so many vulnerable communities have a really hard time here being able to get ID. And so we took it as a huge project. The law was passed in July, and we had 6 months to launch this citywide program. It was super easy. And we had the full backing of the administration, and we thought maybe 100,000 people will sign up in a year. When we opened our doors on January 12th, 2015, at all of the sites, I think we started with 12. Active sites, meaning that the public could access. There was thousands of people sleeping in the streets at most of the sites overnight waiting to get their identification card. We were totally blown away by the response. And so within 4 months, we quadrupled the program. We set up 30 sites around the city, and we were enrolling 4,000 people a day. It was outstanding. And part of why I believe there was such a strong outpouring of this, and what we had originally believed that people would be scared to come forward and get their ID, particularly people who were undocumented or homeless or formerly incarcerated who often feel very marginalized in the city, was because we did have the full backing of the administration. The card itself, when we launched it, we did a full-blown outreach campaign, grassroots. We went into every single community in the city and made sure that people understood how they could get the card, where they could get the card. We made sure that our locations were accessible. We did lots of data analysis. We put ourselves in high-traffic community places. Our enrollment centers partnered with libraries. We partnered with cultural institutions, banks, where people go, where New Yorkers generally go. We wanted people to be able to, on their way to work, go and get the card. On their way home from work, get the card. We made sure that there were benefits to the card so that people that had a driver's license or had a passport or didn't have identity issues would want the card, and so that it would not bring stereotypes for those who did apply for it. So we did a huge partnership with the cultural institutions, and you were able to get 1 year free memberships to 40 cultural institutions in the city. As well as all sorts of other benefits that I can highlight later. We made sure the card did so many other things. You could use it as your library card. We made sure that there was a barcode on it so that there was that we would have the ability later on to streamline services with other city programs. And we added a pharmacy RX bin so that those who do not have medical insurance or prescription drug coverage were able to go into pharmacies and get a discounted prescription program. And so this appealed to so many New Yorkers. And at the present day, we have 1.2 million cardholders in the city, which is more than 14% of the eligible population, which was really incredible. So what's on the card? This is what the card looks like. We made sure that there was a unique identifier, which has proven with all of our integrations, which I'll speak about in a little bit, to really be extremely valuable for those who don't have a social security number, which is many people. This serves in many capacities as that in many systems, including our health and hospital system in the city, so that people can go in, use their IDNYC number, and have a streamlined registration process without having a social. We made sure that your name, your demographic information is on it. You can sign up to be an organ donor, and so we have an integration with the State Department of Health, the same as DMV, so that you're able to sign up for that. We put a veteran designation that could honor veterans on there. There's the 1D barcode, so that we could do an integration with our libraries. An emergency contact, which is huge. People really responded well to this, and I'll talk about an independent evaluation that we had done a couple of years back. Language preference, which also, so that when someone needs the police or somebody else they're interacting with to understand that English is not their primary language, they could easily flip their card and let people know what their language preference is, and the drug discount program, as I spoke about. So community engagement, I think this was huge. It was critical for the success of this program and to let the actual people on the ground know that this card was safe, that they were going to be safe if they enrolled in this program, that their data, that their privacy would be protected, that what they needed, and that the card was here to stay. This wasn't something that was going to be here for 30 days and with another administration or with the current administration, that something could be taken away from them. And so it was critical that it was signed into law and that people knew and understood this at the grassroots level. And so we did huge marketing campaign. We partnered with CBOs. We partnered with advocates on all spectrums to make sure that the communities knew for the 6 months prior to launch, and to this day, we are constantly in the community conducting forums, letting people know about the benefits of the card, what they can do with the card, and what they can't do with the card, right? This is a municipal identification card, so it's also really important that people understand that as well. So convenient locations. One of the major successes I think that we've had is that we are where you live. And where you go, and where, and we've expanded our program to be in almost, it would be hard pressed to find a part of the city where you couldn't get to an IDNYC center in 10 to 15 minutes at most. We've also created 5 pop-up enrollment centers in addition to our locations, our permanent sites, so that we are constantly popping up in schools, we're popping up in churches. We rotate in the neighborhoods where we don't have permanent locations. This was a critical piece for access that I think in other cities that have done municipal IDs, and when they come, and when cities are looking to launch it, what they really ask was, what was the core success of this program? Why do you think that people were able to respond in such a way? And I really believe that because we made it so accessible, half the work was already done for us, in addition to the community outreach. The grassroots outreach can't be understated. We also created in our second year an online portal, so you could begin the application from home. You could check the status of your card. You could do all sorts of business for IDNYC. We wanted to make sure that those who could and who had access to internet, because many people don't still, and had smartphones, and so we made sure that it was mobile friendly as well, could also begin their application. You still need to come in because we have to take your picture. But most of your application can be done online, and we are moving in the future to see how we can streamline more of our mobile process. In addition to this, last year we launched a homebound unit, which is also, it's soaring right now. We have so many people in New York who are either homebound or medically really can't navigate this city. And so we created, which I thought was genius, these portable, almost like your carry-on luggage enrollment centers that like pop up to these amazing enrollments with cameras and things. Don't I sound really technologically advanced? And we go into your home, we enroll you at your house, and you get the card the same. And so part of what this program and the city's mission is all about equity. And so what one New Yorker can get, all New Yorkers need to be able to have access to. And so I think now we're entering our 4th year. We have made sure that with our homebound unit, our Winnebago, and our pop-up enrollment centers, as well as our permanent sites, that every single New Yorker can get this card if they want it. Any part of our process, any of our software is fully vetted by the police department. We have their full backing on this program. They support us 100%. They have actually helped us do outreach in neighborhoods. It's been really cool with the pop-up enrollment centers. They're out in the community doing community outreach with us. And so we have a full document guide. It's got a lot of latitude, and we've really tried to make sure that we've included the most amount of documents that we can take to ensure that the program still has integrity as well. And so you come in, you get your picture taken, you show your documents. We use the same software as the TSA and the FBI, so we authenticate your documents with those tools. We take your picture, our team vets it in real time, and you're out of the enrollment center. It's a very quick process. And we give people the opportunity, if they don't have what they need, to meet with one of our specialists to really help somebody who figure out how they can get the documents, where they can go, how can we help you? And we've referred you to various agencies throughout the city who can also help you establish those points, because we do recognize that some people do not have it. They can't get it. How can we help you get those so that you can get the IDNYC card? So our robust security protections. I think that it's super important to start with when the program first launched. What was a really important piece of this was ensuring that our data would be secure. It has been at the forefront of every single thing that we have done. It is controversial for a lot of people, and we have really done our best to uphold that. So we don't share our database with anyone. There is not another program or agency in the city that can have access to our database. When I talk about our integrations, while we may be able to validate someone's identity or confirm they have the IDNYC card in order for them to, do the streamlined enrollment at the hospital, we don't share any of the information. That system cannot see our system. We have so many security checks in place that we are in a place right now where we feel extremely confident that people's data is protected to the highest extent of the law. And so there was a series of executive orders signed both by the commissioners and the mayor to ensure that this data would be protected. We have thoroughly tested our data security and technology to protect against vulnerabilities, and we feel really strong about that. Our card has the highest standards. We work with a vendor who makes sure that the card can't really be duplicated. I mean, that's hard to say in this day and age, but we haven't had, knock on wood, any instances where we've heard of our card being able to be replicated. We have rainbow printing and holograms and all sorts of things that make it extremely unique and difficult to replicate. And so our security standards are upheld no matter what, no matter who requests it, as long as we are able to do that and protect it through the law. And I think this has been huge for New Yorkers as well, and for our constituents, and it has been a real piece of our outreach. Everywhere we go, it is the #1 question that people ask us, both New Yorkers, press, and others, about the data and about what will happen to my information, particularly in this day. And we continue to stand with that being one of our core values. IDNYC's future is really exciting, and I can share with you that we publicly issued a request for information back in June, which we put on our Chief Technology Officer's challenge website, which was sent out to technology companies, fintechs, banks, offering a challenge to see who could meet us where we needed to be in order to put a smart chip on our card. What would it mean to bank 350,000 people and actually have IDNYC be this tool? And so we are excited and looking forward to see what we can learn from that experience, what the future brings there. We lowered the age last month to 10 because data also shows us that middle schoolers commute around this city by themselves all the time, and they are in need of identification. We are aware that an emergency contact for those children is also critical for them to have in their pocket. The program continues to look to other city agencies to see what kinds of other integrations and efficiencies we can create. We really want to cement this card in this administration as being the one card for all New Yorkers. And so I thank you and hope that if you are eligible, you get your IDNYC, and have a wonderful day.